Man, fuck with us, nigga. Drewski. Riding on these niggas, they already know what it is and what we about, nigga. Cipha Sounds, what's up, nigga? Yeah.
I used to be the producer of the Angie Martinez Show until she left me. But you never know, I could be producing another Angie Martinez Show or a Cipha Sounds show. Right now, during this interview, at this very moment, we are in the process of figuring out who will be the next host of the 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. here at Hot 97. And we are in the Hot 97 studios, by the way. I pretty much always knew what I wanted growing up as a teen. So I started high school and I knew I wanted to be in entertainment. So I did TV production. I was part of like everything digital. And by like 18, I would take the train to the city and figure out how to get into places like 106 in Park. And at the time, MTV had a show called Direct Effect. It was a music countdown. So I would like find out how to be in the studio audience. And maybe like 6 months doing that, Cipha Sounds took over Direct Effect at the time on MTV. And every time, I went maybe 4 or 5 times, but every time after the show ended, after they finished filming, I would sneak into by the dressing room area and I would like tell them, like, yo, Cipha, I'm 18, I want to be a DJ, I want to be part of this entertainment thing, this radio thing. If there's ever opportunity, please call me, let me know. And it took like 4 or 5 times before I finally got a call back. But I was 18, so that was my first job interning for Cipha in the music business, in the entertainment business, in radio. Well, Cipha got me the internship, and I would go with him and go to Shade 45 in the morning. I didn't go to school for radio. I was like self-taught. So I would go with him to the radio station at Sirius and watch and learn and watch and learn. And then finally, I started producing a show for Angela Yee called Lip Service. But that came from watching and learning from the morning show that Cipha had on Sirius XM. Okay. And then I got that, and I was doing video production here at Hot 97 and just built relationships while I was up here, building relationships with the jocks. And after, a couple years, Angie's producer at the time left. His name was Monse. He left, and they called me like, hey, Ebro hit me. He was the PD at the time, and he's like, yo, Angie needs a producer. She wants to know what's up. Would you be able to do it? And I'm like, hell, like that was a dream call. And at the same time, I'm still DJing and doing events outside of the station. And he's like, well, you got to stop doing video production if you're going to do Angie's producer job. It's like full time. And I said, without a doubt, like I'm in. And I started producing. Since I first started working for Hot 97, of course, I started like as an intern with Cipha, and I grew by making relationships and just being myself. Like, I guess I'm blessed enough for people to take a liking into me, and I stayed humble. I never stepped my boundaries. I never was speeding. Up here we call it speeding. Is like when you get ahead of yourself or you try to make decisions on your own. But I always like showed love and respect, and I knew my history and I knew everything about Hot 97, about hip-hop. I live the culture. I am the culture. And people just see that. And once you show that you're real, they respect it. And they let you in. And that's basically how it happened here at Hot. Like, they let me in. It's a family. And once they let me in, I always said, like, I got to prove myself to them and make them happy. So everything I did or any opportunity I got, I thought, like, what would Angie think? Or would Cipha be proud of me? And I put on for us. So, it's just taking the opportunities and creating more out of it. Well, Cipha, he knew me since I was a kid. Like, he's the one that put me on. So I learned a lot from Cipha. And, I took what I knew in my hustle and put it to, Cipha's grind and Cipha's hustle and was able to develop. My goal is like to be bigger than Cipha, like to show him that he created a monster. So it's like taking everything he knows and taking everything I learned from other people and and now where the table's turning, I could put Cipha on. Like, that's my goal. It's the same thing with Angie. I want to be able to create opportunities for them like they did for me. And being around them and being around the right people, I was able to make other relationships with artists. You know, I'm the producer of Angie Show, so I'm the one that books the artists, the talent to come on the show. And by doing that, I created relationships. In the same way Angie took a liking into me, Jim, Mano, Jadakiss, like, they did the same thing. And then once they see that you're about your business, like, it's not just talk. Like, I'll go to any hood and I'll go to the grimy parts of the city to do work, and I'll go into the studio till 4 or 5 in the morning. Like, they respect it, and that's when they, you know, you build your relationships with them by just working with people, by working with Jim and being in the studio and putting my you know, my work ethic compared to his, and he's like, yo, like, I respect that, and any ideas I have that benefit him, not just myself, like, give it to, you just gotta put it out there, like, yo, I think this would work, I think this would help you. And they're like, wow, for a stranger to come up with ideas that's gonna help my brand, in exchange, they help you. Oh yeah, of course J-Lo's in it. She's like the first lady of the movement. But the movement was an idea that actually, I didn't know until we created it, that Cipha had this idea like a while ago to create this movement. It would have been called something else, but his idea was like to partner with another DJ, or it was actually Jabba, the reggae host from Massive B, to partner with Jabba and start creating these like female artists. And they get the artist, they create music, they put her out, and then they get a new girl in, and it's like a group. But now it turned into like a collective where we want to work with, Cipha and I, you know, created it, but we want to work with different producers, different artists. There's different talent, so writers, everything, and DJs, so that everyone is throwing out ideas and we're creating from that. So it's not just one producer making all the songs. It could be 3 producers on one track. So one producer's good at one thing, and then another one's good at playing live music. So it's a collective of everyone working together. And we're still building the team, and it's all about positive vibes. Like, if you're coming into the studio to work with us, it's got to be like positive vibes, and everyone has to see the big picture. And it's not about the now. It's like, it's just art, like creating. We don't think about, there's no time frame, there's no limit. We just create, and it's a collective of everyone's ideas and, you know, talents. Banned from radio is when we kind of like first started the movement. We're like, okay, we have this idea, now we gotta make it work. How are we gonna make it work? And I'm like, well, we have relationships with all the artists. Let's just see what we can make of it. So at the time, we were working real close with Nori and all the other artists, and we're like, oh, we could take Nori's banned from TV and flip it. Look, speaking of Cipha, he's here. We started it. We're gonna do 2 separate ones, but we're at the point of how the band from radio come along. No, we're gonna just pick up from right here.
Are you gonna pick up from right here?
Yeah, so
is
it's
it
like
gonna be the boss?
Yeah.
He's not on it though.
He's not in the camera.
Right.
So.
Oh, this is on camera?
See, like, if this came out more towards me, can you move this? No, right? Now he's in it.
Are we both in it?
Perfect.
But don't leave all this.
Why?
The best part, I think.
Whatever you want.
I don't like my shit being lower than yours. Well, you don't have to go lower than me, but...
Continue.
Banned from radio. So I said we took Nori's banned from TV, had Mike Cash flip it, add some stuff to it, and then reached out to our friends who was Mano, Troy Ave, Chinks, Mac, and had them all come into the studio together and just rock, like write.
My main goal with that record is to get everyone in the studio together at the same time, because a lot of people don't do that anymore. Everybody has like technology where they can just email songs and tracks to people. So I think a lot of hip hop is missing the collaborative vibe of in the moment being in the studio together.
Right.
So we had them in there, and as soon as they started coming in the studio and writing, the vibe was there.
Right.
Like, they was like hungry to get on next. I got next, and they would start writing, and the energy and people. One rapper would critique another rapper's like, nah, you could probably say that better, and they never even met, or maybe met 1 or 2 times, like, and Bodega Bands was telling me, no, yo, I like your energy, but you should say this part like this, and he was like, oh, word, they started doing it.